Okay, so, you know, it's been an interesting day to to see not only the results of the election, but to see people's reaction, to see how we treat each other. And one thing that's evident to me is almost a lack of civility in discourse on social media, as well as just a lack of respect overall for each other's viewpoints. And I think that is a result of it's a result of a political campaign that pretty much made it okay to be disrespectful to each other. We had a candidate that said very misogynistic things, a candidate that made fun a candidate that made fun of disabled individuals. Take that however you want it. It is what it is. The one thing I would say about President elect is he tells you what's on his mind. There's no hiding that. And by so doing, he has somehow made it okay for people to divulge their true feelings. And so while there is a sense of frustration regarding the political establishment, frustration with elitism, the campaign exposed certain divisions that still exist in this nation, that exist in our society, that exist in the world. We have seen people with varying viewpoints not only disagree but denigrate each other to a point where that respect dissipates. And because of that, there are some of us that convince ourselves that there is no way that a candidate who has been so disrespectful and misrepresentative of the ideals of what it is to be American or to live in the United States, one where we, embrace diversity, we celebrate what's different and welcome people from varying cultural backgrounds. And so essentially, I just feel at this time what America is the antithesis of what I thought it should be. And trying to come to terms with that is pretty difficult. I'll be honest and say, I did not expect Hillary to win by a landslide, but I certainly did not anticipate that she'd lose. But at last she did. Marginally won the popular vote, it would seem, but displaced by the Electoral College. So now we're left with the task of coming to terms with what a Trump presidency means. Does it mean that the rhetoric that we saw during the campaign is going to become descriptive of the president to be? Is he going to follow through on his commitment to build a wall to separate Mexico from the United States? A wall that, let me add, will prevent, to an extent, access to this country. But let's not forget that approximately 60% of illegal immigrants currently in the United States access this country by air, not land. So the extent of effectiveness of a wall is pretty questionable. But, is he going to build a wall? Is he going to is he going to do everything that he said he would do? The things that were dehumanizing, the things that were ostracizing. Because if so, then that's why, my friends, people are concerned. People are concerned that their dreams are no longer valid, that they live in a country that does not like them, that does not see them as a part of this country. We see children that wonder, is it okay to bully others? Is it okay to make fun of others? Is it okay to dissociate from people who you see as different simply because you don't understand them? And I think those are legitimate fears. But that being said, democracy has spoken. What we have is what we have, and we need to The thing that makes this country great is what so many of us have spoken about. And that's, a peaceful transition of power and a respectable democracy. So I get people's frustration and protesting the results, but protesting the results is not going to change anything. What we need to do instead is to determine where do we go from here. What do we do to curtail our fears? What do we do to ensure that no government oversteps its power and denigrate a whole society of people while we watch and do nothing? Because it entails that we're going to have to step up to the plate. We're going to have to look out for each other. We're going to have to ensure that when injustices take place, that we stand up against it, that we demonstrate love to each other, and by extension, those that we see as different or those who are unlike us and does not necessarily share our viewpoints. So cry if you must, despair, be mad about it for a little bit, but then, wake up and realize that true change happens because of us, not in spite of us. And any difference we want to see has to start with us. And it starts with us respecting each other and standing up against injustice. Because we don't stand by and let injustices happen. We don't get comfortable with where we are because whatever happens doesn't affect us directly. And it's those things that make us a better people. It's those things that still makes this country one of the greatest countries on earth. And as a Jamaican who has chosen this place as home, I realize that we live in a globalized society. And so whatever we do or say, how we live our lives, is something that's shared around the world. It's shared around the world because it's who we are and what we are. We're humans, and we're human beings who have fears and apprehensions about the future, about making sure that we're valid, about making sure that we're accomplishing everything we set out to accomplish. And so as long as we have the freedom to do that, the freedom to pursue what we want, the freedom to defend that which we think is unjustifiable, then we are okay. The problem comes into place when we stop. The problem comes into play when we don't care anymore. So we go on from here. We go on from here committing ourselves to always fighting for and standing up for what's right. To always help people to accomplish their dreams. To always love and love unconditionally. And no government can change that because it's who we are. That's humanity. And the moment humanity ceases to exist is when we cease to love. It's when we cease to respect each other. Let's not go there. Let's not go any further than we already have in terms of dehumanizing each other, because we've seen the results of that. We have seen enough in our past that demonstrates how bad humanity can get when we dehumanize, when we disrespect. So allow this to be an encouragement to you if you're feeling down, if you're feeling disenfranchised. Democracy is alive and well. And so that's my rant for today. I just felt I needed to say that. Not sure how many people it would impact or who would watch it, but I said it. I have a college fair tonight, and I fly to Atlanta tomorrow, and I have not packed. So, tonight will be fairly busy. It'll be an all-nighter. Try to pack, and I'm going to try to go into the office by around 5 o'clock tomorrow morning to get some stuff cleared before I head out. So, anyways, peoples, one love, deuces, Dimitri. You don't know.